Hey everyone, this is Michael again, and welcome to the Monday Night Raw review. And tonight's Monday Night Raw was from the TD Garden in Boston. And this was Monday Night Raw's go-home show for Survivor Series, which is this Sunday. And I gotta say, tonight's Monday Night Raw, same as every week, shitty show, absolute garbage. And tonight's show was, in my opinion, a waste of 3 hours. I could say that about every Raw. It's every week. It's a waste of 3 hours. But tonight, it was like, what? Because there was matches that ended in a no contest or in a DQ. But overall, garbage show tonight. Shitty show, as always, with Monday Night Raw. So let's get on with the review. So Monday Night Raw opened up tonight with the Raw Women's Champion, Becky Lynch. She came out, she got on the mic, and she said that she doesn't have to wait until Survivor Series. Because at Survivor Series, she's going to be facing SmackDown Women's Champion, Bayley, and also the NXT Women's Champion, Shayna Baszler. And Becky says she wants to fight tonight. So then we had Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. The IIconics came out. So they end up saying that they heard Becky talk about Survivor Series and that they couldn't stay quiet. So Payne and Billie enter the ring and they go on to talk about how they are the future. So Becky ends up interrupting and she says it's supposed to be her and Charlotte tagging tonight. And Becky ends up saying a better future would be Becky versus the IIconics right here tonight. So the IIconics end up agreeing. And we're about to get the match going with Becky versus the IIconics. But out came Charlotte. Charlotte came out. She was on the mic. Charlotte ended up saying, to Becky that it's fine if, Becky wants the IIconics all to herself. And Charlotte says she also doesn't want to team with Becky, but the forces want them together. And so Charlotte goes on about how she's leading Team Raw in the 15-woman elimination match at Survivor Series. So Charlotte gets in the ring, and out came Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe was on the stage. I'm like, oh, Samoa Joe is here. It was good seeing Joe on TV again. Back. He has a, he injured his thumb. So Raw went to commercial, and I'm like, 8 minutes into the show and they're already going to commercial? Really? So then when Raw came back from the commercial, we had Charlotte and Becky versus the IIconics. Very quick match. And Samoa Joe was on commentary here. He did commentary for the whole show. And I gotta say, Samoa Joe did a decent job on commentary. I think he's a very, decent commentator. Would like to hear, him more on commentary. Hopefully, he stays there until Dio is ready to come back on commentary. But Charlotte and Becky versus the IIconics, it was a very short match. It only lasted maybe like 4 minutes. So Charlotte and Becky got the win. Charlotte locked in the figure 8 on Billie Kay. And Becky ended up hitting the Exploder on Peyton Royce. So there you go. Charlotte and Becky win the match. Post-match, you had Charlotte and Becky. They walk up the ramp. And Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Maria Shafir, they end up coming into the ring. They attack the IIconics. Charlotte and Becky then run back to the ring. We had a brawl between them. We had a brawl between Charlotte, Becky, Shayna, Jessamyn, and Maria. And Shayna ends up taking out Becky Lynch. And Jessamyn Duke, Maria Shafir, they end up double teaming on Charlotte. And Shayna Baszler, Jessamyn Duke, and Maria Shafir, they went over the barricade into the crowd. And Becky and Charlotte, they end up getting up. They end up going over the barricade to fight Shayna, Jessamyn, and Maria. But security ended up coming to block them, break up the brawl. So Becky was not having that. She wasn't satisfied. And Becky ends up laying out a security guard with the right hand to his face. So that's pretty much basically what happened. But there you go, build for Survivor Series. They're doing more build for it. I have to say, this build to Survivor Series, with them including NXT in it, has been really interesting. I like how WWE is building this year's Survivor Series and including NXT in it. I think it's great. I think it's a good build. They're doing a really good job with this build. So that's in my opinion, though. Then we had Charlie Caruso. Charlie Caruso was backstage. She was interviewing Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. They were going to take on the War Raiders for the Raw Tag Team Championships tonight. And, they were talking, Zack Ryder was talking, and then from out of nowhere, AOP, the Authors of Pain, come. Akira and Razor, they appear. They got in Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins' faces. They start beating the hell out of them. AOP starts beating the hell out of Ryder and Hawkins. AOP then talks trash to the both of them. And they walk away. And they leave Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins on the ground. Pretty much, that was basically what happened. But really cool seeing AOP here. I really like to see where they take AOP now, and WWE. There could be a way that they could fuck this up with AOP again, but hopefully they treat AOP right this time. So we'll see what WWE is going to do with AOP. I think now with AOP they're possibly going to face Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins. So that'll possibly be their first match, back in the ring. And if they do that, it's going to be an easy win for them. It's going to be an easy win for Akira Razor. Then we had the OC. The OC came out. So they made their way out. They got in the ring. AJ Styles gets on the mic. And he ends up saying that he wants to make a statement that these idiots can understand, meaning the crowd, meaning the Boston crowd. Styles ends up saying that he would love to defend the United States Championship against Humberto Carrillo. And Luke Gallows talks about how when you disrespect one member of the OC, you disrespect them all. He says, that's why Karl Anderson is going to beat the hell out of Humberto Carrillo tonight. And so they end up saying about how the OC, Styles goes on to say about how the OC is the best tag team in the world because they have a trophy to prove it, which that trophy doesn't mean shit. It was just a little thing it was just a little trophy that they won at Crown Jewel, which to me, that trophy should have gone to the Revival. But at the end of the day, I'm going to say that the OC being the club, that matters. So that was basically what Styles and the OC had to say. Then we had Humberto Carrillo versus Karl Anderson. Now, the match itself, it was meh, did not care for it. But you had the Street Profits come out, and they were down there trying to distract Luke Gallows and AJ Styles. But there was a point right there where Humberto bounced off the ropes. He leapt over the ropes, took out the OC, took out Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles. And at the end of the match, you had Gallows on the ring apron, and they ended up taking down Humberto, and I think it was Angelo Dawkins ended up pulling on Humberto so Humberto could pin Karl Anderson, and Humberto got the win because of that. Humberto Carrillo ended up winning the match, defeating Karl Anderson, thanks to, I think it was Angelo Dawkins of the Street Profits. But, Humberto has been facing the OC. This is like his win, because I know he lost like 4 weeks in a row. So they finally give Humberto a win. There you go. Humberto Carrillo beat Karl Anderson in a very meh match. Did not give a shit about what happened here. But, they're trying to build up Humberto and give him a push. I mean, the guy is talented, but, he's good in the ring. But, what does this benefit for Humberto? So then we had, after that, we had Charlie Caruso. She was interviewing Seth Rollins. Seth goes on to talk about Andrade Cien Almas. He ends up praising Andrade. And he ends up saying that he will prove one more time why it's Monday Night Rollins, as he burns it down. And Charlie Caruso says, after the interview with Seth Rollins, that we have big breaking news that we have to see. Oh, I wonder what that big breaking news is. So that was the interview with Seth Rollins. Then we had Bobby Lashley versus No Way Jose. Yeah, this is an interesting Monday Night Raw, right? Right, guys? This is a good Monday Night Raw. Yeah. Yeah, okay. If you think that, I laugh. I laugh. So, Bobby Lashley made his way down, along with Lana. No Way Jose did not have any entrance. He didn't have his conga line people there. But Lana ended up getting on the mic. We have more of this part of this shitty fucking storyline that, from what I heard, Rusev is defending. Why is Rusev defending this whole storyline is beyond me. It's fucking stupid. Rusev's just being a corporate, yes man, saying, oh yeah, this storyline is not bad. And he's calling people out on it. I'm like, Rusev, what kind of drugs are you on in defending this whole storyline that practically everyone fucking hates? Even the people in the company, people in WWE even hate this storyline. Corey Graves on his podcast that After the Bell, he even hates this storyline. Hell, even on WWE Backstage last week, Booker T, Paige, Renee Young, they can't stand this storyline. They even hate it too. God, I would like to see what CM Punk has to say about this whole storyline. And yes, CM Punk is on WWE Backstage. He made an appearance last week, a surprise appearance, which I really liked. I know people are calling him out, saying that he's a sellout for coming back here, but he is not working for WWE. He is working for Fox, not WWE. He's a Fox guy. So we're going to see CM Punk on WWE Backstage tomorrow. But I had to get all that out. I mean, Rusev defending this whole shitty storyline with him, Lana, and Bobby Lashley that nobody could fucking stand. I don't even know one person who likes this storyline. If you like this storyline, there is fucking something wrong with you. There is something wrong. So, Lana gets on the mic. She says this is the happiest day of her life because she has filed for divorce on Rusev. Like anybody gives a shit about this storyline. Sorry about that, but I was saying, Lana was saying that she filed for divorce from Rusev. Okay. Technically it's part of the storyline, but you're still married to him. And she says that she also had some bad news. And the crowd was chanting Rusev Day. And Lana says, we will no longer see her soon-to-be ex-husband, as she has gotten a restraining order against him in Massachusetts. And she ends up saying that Rusev can't come within a certain number of miles from her. She also goes on to say that her and Lashley just want Rusev out of their lives, so she and Lashley can be together forever. Can we please end this storyline? Please. Please. Please end this. And from what I heard, rumors saying that we're going to get Rusev and Bobby Lashley at TLC next month. After that, after they have that match, please end this fucking storyline. Please. Everybody hates it. It's cringeworthy. It's shitty. Please, after Rusev versus Bobby Lashley at TLC, fucking end this whole storyline. I don't think anybody, including me, can take this storyline anymore. Fucking diarrhea-inducing garbage. So then the match got on the way. Bobby Lashley versus No Way Jose. Give you 3 minutes. Well, not 3 minutes. I'll give you 1 second to tell me who won this match. Did No Way Jose win it? Did Bobby Lashley win it? If you guess Bobby Lashley, ding ding ding, you win. You don't win anything. Bobby Lashley won. Had the full Nelson on No Way Jose. There you go. Bobby Lashley ended up winning. Match lasted maybe like 3 minutes. That was that. And then we had to induce this after what happened after the match. Bobby Lashley ended up standing there with Lana. They ended up celebrating. They start making out. And they go down. And they continue kissing. God almighty. Oh. God. I can't fucking stand the storyline. I fucking hate the storyline. Fucking garbage. Then we had Seth Rollins versus Andrade Cien Almas, which was announced over the weekend. And this was a good match. This was a very entertaining match from the both of them. You had a point in the match where, of course, Zelina Vega tried to get involved. She was holding on to Seth's leg, and Seth ended up kicking her off, moving Zelina out of the way. And sorry about that, but I was saying, Zelina Vega got involved in the match. She ended up holding on to Seth Rollins' leg. Seth Rollins ended up, kicking her off, from Zelina holding his leg. And it got to the point where Andrade had where the referee had his back turned, and Zelina tried to do that Hurricanrana, but Seth ended up catching her and just, tossed her. And the referee ended up seeing that, and the ref threw Zelina Vega out of ringside. So it was just one-on-one with Seth Rollins and Andrade. And the end of the match ended in a disqualification because we had the Lucha House Party come out. They started beating down on Seth Rollins, and Andrade looked shocked, and they were Lucha House Party was destroying Seth Rollins, on the floor, ringside. Then the Lucha House Party come into the ring. They beat down on Andrade. Seth ended up making a save for Andrade. They were fighting Lucha House Party off. Fans were really liking it. Lucha House Party ended up going up to the ramp. They retreat up the ramp. And Seth and Andrade, they were looking. Andrade ends up, starting to propose another match, with him and Seth Rollins. And they both, shake hands. And Seth Rollins says, "We'll do this again down the road." So that was that. So, but it was a good match between Seth Rollins and Andrade up until the end with the DQ. And both of these guys couldn't lose, so they had to do something. But there's many other superstars that they could have did to attack the both of them, both Seth and Andrade from SmackDown. Then you get the Lucha House Party. Really? Out of everyone on the SmackDown roster, hell, even NXT could have, someone from NXT could have came down and beat down on Seth and Andrade. Out of all of them, you get the Lucha House Party? Really? Anyways, moving on. Then we see Buddy Murphy. Buddy Murphy was backstage, and he ends up stopping at a door. He knocks on it, and he announces that he wants to pick a fight with Aleister Black. And Aleister doesn't come out, doesn't answer the door. Buddy Murphy ends up walking off. He ends up saying, just like he thought, it was all talk. Buddy Murphy leaves. Aleister ends up coming out, a few seconds later. He was looking for the guy who was looking for him. And from what I heard, Aleister Black is injured, and he can't compete. That's what I heard. And then we see black SUV pulling up into the arena, and of course, Triple H ends up stepping out of the SUV, and he enters the garden, the TD Garden, and Raw went to commercial. Then, when Raw came back from commercial, we had Buddy Murphy versus Akira Tozawa. And this was a pretty decent match from the both of them. Buddy Murphy, very talented in the ring, one of my favorites. Shows that this guy should be pushed more often, that WWE should push Buddy Murphy, give him a big push because the guy is talented. And he worked well here with Akira Tozawa. And in the end, Buddy Murphy ended up getting the win. Murphy's Law on Akira Tozawa. So there you go. Buddy Murphy ends up winning the match. But decent match. Wasn't bad of a match. And really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed the match. I had fun with it. And then we had Erick Rowan. He was talking baby talk like he did on SmackDown to a cage, which we also saw on SmackDown. I forgot to mention, when Erick Rowan came out on SmackDown on Friday, he came out with a cage. It had like a towel over it, blanket over it, or cloth over the cage. We all know what's in it, but if WWE gets to that point where they want to, tell us, what Erick Rowan has in that cage, it's going to possibly be a disappointment, and WWE is just going to give us something, explain that, like, oh, it's that. Oh, we don't care. We don't give a shit. It's gonna be like that. I definitely sense WWE is possibly going to set us up for disappointment on what's in the cage that Erick Rowan is holding. So let's be prepared for that. Let's prepare to be disappointed. So then we had Buddy Murphy. He was outside of Aleister Black's door. Buddy Murphy once again calls for Aleister Black. Aleister comes out, and they just stare at each other. They stare each other down. So that was basically that. Then we had Erick Rowan versus local Alex Malcolm. This was garbage. This was a squash match, but what happened, with that happened, with the match started, and the Singh brothers came out, and of course, stupid garbage with the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. Singh brothers are coming out, running around the ring. R-Truth comes, runs after them. Rowan has had enough of it. Rowan ends up clotheslining both the Singh brothers. He goes to to attack R-Truth, but R-Truth, stops there, backs away. Rowan gets in the ring, starts destroying the local guy, Alex Malcolm. Lays Alex Malcolm with a Iron Claw. There you go. Erick Rowan wins the match. Of course, Erick Rowan came out with holding the cage that has the cloth blanket over it. That we know that WWE, if they set that up to tell us what's in that cage, it's going to be a disappointment. Watch. So there you go. That was what happened. That was what happened in the match. Erick Rowan destroyed a local, Iron Claw, had the Singh brothers run around, R-Truth, chasing them for that stupid, ugly-looking Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title. That was basically that. Garbage. I'm sick of seeing the Jobber Ninja Turtle 24/7 title on fucking TV. It's like, people say, even YouTube, wrestling YouTube reviewers say they should keep the 24/7 stuff on social media. When it comes on TV, we all hate it. And it's not even funny. It's exactly what we're all saying. This shit is not funny. This shit is stupid. It's cringe. And WWE still manages to put it on TV. Stop it. Moving on. Charlie Caruso, she was interviewing Randy Orton. She asks Randy Orton about the Team Raw members getting along for just one night to win at Survivor Series. Randy Orton says he only has a history of playing well with others, only if it benefits him. So Orton goes on and says he is the greatest Survivor Series superstar of all time. And he goes on to say that if the War Raiders, I'm not calling them the Viking Raiders, the War Raiders want to fight tonight, then he will be waiting in the ring with a partner of his choosing, because it was announced that Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, after they got destroyed by AOP, they were injured, they couldn't compete against the War Raiders. So Randy Orton ended up stepping up and said, I'll be waiting in the ring with a partner of my choosing, one that will benefit him. So that was that. So we have the War Raiders versus Randy Orton and a partner of his choosing. Then we had Kevin Owens versus Drew McIntyre, which this was a good match. This was a back and forth match between Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre. It was pinfall, kickouts here. You had Kevin Owens try to lay the stunner twice on Drew McIntyre. McIntyre ended up reversing both of them. McIntyre hit the Claymore kick to Kevin Owens, went for the pin. Kevin Owens kicked out of that, which was shocking, because who kicks out of the Claymore kick? And the crowd was really into this match also. The match delivered. And the match ended in a no contest, which was disappointing. Both Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, they couldn't lose. One of these guys couldn't lose here. But it ended in a no contest because Triple H came out. Then it went to commercial. And when Raw came back from commercial, Triple H was in the ring with Kevin Owens. I'm like, oh, Drew McIntyre just left just like that? So Triple H was in the ring with Kevin Owens. We see the Forgotten Sons, Dominik Dijakovic, Damian Priest on the outside. And Triple H ends up calling for water and gives it to Kevin Owens. Triple H says to Kevin Owens that was a hell of a match between him and Drew McIntyre. Triple H ends up getting a big pop from the Boston crowd. Triple H goes on about the wrestling history in Boston. He ends up saying Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins made magic in the ring. And Triple H says Kevin Owens knows why he's here. And it's the same general reason why he was here for Seth Rollins before, but different. So Triple H ended up going on about why he likes Seth Rollins, but says Kevin Owens is different. That Kevin Owens is a different breed. Triple H ends up saying about how Kevin Owens turned on his best friend to win the NXT Championship. Then he ends up talking about how Kevin Owens walked into Monday Night Raw and ended up picking a fight with John Cena, which happened on Raw. He says Cena also left Raw in an ambulance that night. Yeah, we all remember that when Kevin Owens had that little rivalry with John Cena. So Triple H ends up praising Kevin Owens for how he helped legitimize NXT and how he put NXT on the map. And Triple H ends up saying that Kevin Owens was then taken from NXT and that he probably didn't want to leave. Well, nobody wants to leave NXT and go to the main roster because look how many superstars that came up from NXT and WWE end up fucking them up and ruin them. Ruin their chances of a push. You had the Ascension. Bayley when she came up here. But now, in my opinion, with the heel turn, it's doing fine for Bayley. No Way Jose, jobber. He was big in NXT. Crowd really enjoyed him. And also others that came up from NXT. Amber Moon also. I tell you, most of those superstars, they didn't want to leave NXT and come up to the main roster because look how WWE has handled them. So Triple H ends up going on about how people on the main roster indicated to Kevin Owens that they didn't want him there and that they didn't believe he belongs there on the main roster. So Triple H ended up taking shots at the main roster on how the main roster, is booked by, the WWE creative and Vince McMahon. See, down in NXT, Triple H and his team know how to book superstars. And that's why the match quality and the show is very good, is really good. A lot of people, including me, are positive on NXT. It's the best thing that WWE has going for them is NXT. And even NXT UK. I'll throw that in. NXT UK, I really enjoy it. I really enjoy NXT UK. They have that going for them. So Triple H went on to say that he knows where Kevin Owens belongs. Triple H then goes on about how good Kevin Owens is in the ring and how ring smart he is. Says Triple H says he sees a guy who doesn't fit the damn mold, and he loves it. So Triple H ends up pointing to the NXT guys at ringside. He ends up saying they're here just so these two can have their conversation and not to attack Kevin Owens. They said they came here just for Kevin Owens. But he says Kevin Owens' teammates are in the back, and none of them are coming out to help Kevin Owens from an attack because they don't give a damn about Kevin Owens. So Triple H ended up saying the guys in the back also know that they will get their asses handed to them if they come out and prove that NXT is now the A show. Well, to me, NXT has always been the A show. NXT is, that good of a show. It's the best show, like I said, it's the best show that WWE has going for them. So we had the Raw locker room guys come out. Brawl happens at ringside. Kevin Owens gets attacked from the Undisputed Era. Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, Bobby Fish. And Triple H is, watching that. The OC come out. They make the save. Undisputed Era goes through the crowd. And Triple H is shown watching from the stage. And, pretty much that was basically that. The superstars end up fighting to the back. Pretty much that was basically what happened. But it was a good segment from Triple H. Really liked what he had to say. He was taking shots at the main roster. Because, Triple H knows that the main roster is pretty shitty. When you compare it to how NXT books their superstars down there. You could tell. And, Triple H is the guy that we want to take over the company when, Vince retires, which we all know possibly, Vince is never going to step down. Unless the XFL next year is a success and not a failure like it was back in the day. There's talks about, how Vince McMahon could step down and focus more on the XFL. Because how is Vince going to focus on WWE and also do the XFL also? Triple H is the guy that we need to take over the company. He understands what the fans want. But Vince doesn't want to step down. Vince doesn't want to give it to Triple H. Doesn't want to give the company to Triple H. The only time we'll see change in WWE is if Vince retires, which possibly won't, or until the day that Vince dies. That's the only way we're going to get change in the company. But it was a good segment from Triple H. Really enjoy what he has to say. Every time when Triple H comes out and delivers, promo towards a segment, it's really enjoyable and, good. Sorry about that again. Keep getting interrupted. But then we had Charlie Caruso. She ended up talking about how next week it will be Humberto Carrillo versus AJ Styles for next week. And Humberto is there and he speaks about the match and he says he's ready to win the title. Then we had Charlie Caruso. She ended up sending us to Paul Heyman, who has breaking news as well. So Paul Heyman comes on, talks about, the happenings between Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio. End up going through, what we saw, how it happened 2 months ago. Brock Lesnar ended up destroying Rey's son Dominic on the season premiere of Monday Night Raw. Then how, Brock Lesnar won the WWE Championship from Kofi Kingston on the first SmackDown on Fox. And also Cain Velasquez, and how he defeated Cain Velasquez at Crown Jewel. It was just a recap of everything that, Brock Lesnar has done these past 2 months. And he says, regarding the recent attack from Ray to Brock Lesnar, Paul Heyman says Brock Lesnar will be 100% for Survivor Series this Sunday. And he was not hurt. And just to show that, it's going to be Rey Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. And the match will be now a no-holds-barred match. So Paul Heyman says we will see either Rey Mysterio pull off a miracle and avenge his family, or we're going to see Brock Lesnar destroy Rey Mysterio in such a brutal manner that the footage will have to be removed from the WWE archives. I will sense that's not going to be a brutal match at Survivor Series. But who knows? So Paul Heyman says it won't be a 5-second match. It will be a public torture session. It will be a massacre. He says, of course, that's not a prediction. It's a spoiler. So that was what Paul Heyman had to say. So we now head back to Charlie Caruso. She was Rey Mysterio. Rey calls over Humberto Carrillo, congratulates him on his success and how he's representing Hispanics. And he ends up telling Humberto to keep it up, to keep it going. So both of them end up embracing. Humberto walks off. Then Rey ends up talking trash about Brock Lesnar and that he has the same pipe that he's used for the past weeks. Saying he's bringing it to Chicago with him. Mysterio goes on to say that this no-holds-barred stipulation is to his advantage, not Brock's. Says he goes on and says the old Rey Mysterio will be demanding an apology. So Rey says he's not coming to Survivor Series for an apology. He's coming for the WWE Championship. So Rey Mysterio ends up dedicating this match to his son, Dominic. So that's what Rey had to say. So Survivor Series, we're going to see Rey Mysterio versus Brock Lesnar. No-holds-barred match. So we'll see how that goes. Then we had Asuka versus Natalya, which match was very meh, in my opinion. Asuka won the match, ended up delivering a kick to Natalya. So Asuka ends up winning the match. Very meh match. Then we had the main event. The War Raiders versus Randy Orton and a mystery partner of Randy Orton's choosing. That mystery partner was revealed to be Ricochet. So it was the War Raiders versus Randy Orton and Ricochet for the Raw Tag Team Championships. And I'm like, this doesn't make any sense because Orton and Ricochet are part of Team Raw on Survivor Series. Why are they having them face the War Raiders for the Raw Tag Team Championships? Doesn't make any sense. So, but the match itself, it was a pretty decent match between them. But you had SmackDown, the superstars from SmackDown. They ended up, attacking backstage. Some of the Raw superstars, and the match, like I said, was decent. Sorry about that again. Keep getting interrupted. But like I said, the match was decent between the War Raiders, Randy Orton, and Ricochet. But the match ended in a no contest because SmackDown superstars came down, and they end up beating down on Randy Orton, Ricochet, and the War Raiders. And we had the War Raiders end up pulling some of the SmackDown stars to the floor. So we had a brawl. And the only ones who were in the ring were Randy Orton, Ricochet, and the War Raiders. NXT superstars came down. We saw Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, Keith Lee, Pete Dunne, and we also saw the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, Lio Rush. A whole lot of others came down. They were just going at it at SmackDown. So NXT, Team NXT and Team Raw ended up facing off. We had more NXT superstars come from the crowd, ended up surrounding the ring. And Ricochet and Randy Orton, Orton ended up hitting the RKO. Ricochet ended up hitting the recoil to some of the NXT superstars. So we had a brawl between NXT, Team Raw, Team SmackDown. Seth Rollins' music ended up hitting. He ends up running down, along with the OC. We had Humberto Carrillo, the Street Profits, others that came down. So we had a brawl with all three teams. So Triple H ends up appearing from backstage. Triple H ends up saying that this is just the beginning, because in 6 days, we will finish this at Survivor Series. He says, and prove that NXT is the premier brand. So Triple H then announces that this Wednesday night on NXT, the doors will be wide open. He invites everyone to bring what they want from Raw and SmackDown and show which brand they're fighting for. So then when Triple H ended up finishing what he had to say, we went back to to the arena, or back to the ring, the ringside, and the brawl was still continuing between Team NXT, Team Raw, and Team SmackDown. And that's basically how Monday Night Raw went off the air. But the hype for Survivor Series between all three brands, I think WWE is doing it good. Get me a little hype for Survivor Series. Really am going to enjoy this brand, this team brand between NXT, Team NXT, Team SmackDown, Team Raw. It's going to be a 5-on-5-on-5 Survivor Series elimination match, which to me, it sounds like a clusterfuck, but it could end up being decent or surprisingly good Survivor Series elimination match. But we'll have to wait and see. I am hyped to see this Survivor Series elimination match, and I hope it delivers. I hope WWE doesn't somehow fuck it up in some way. But anyways, Monday Night Raw, garbage show. In my opinion, it was a shitty show. So anyways, that's it for my review of tonight's Monday Night Raw. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed this video. Sorry about all the interruptions here, but definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until next video, which will be a movie review of Ford versus Ferrari. I did get a chance to see it today, so that will be the next video. Will possibly be up tomorrow, so stay tuned for that. So definitely give the video a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and until the next video, which will be the movie review of Ford vs. Ferrari, I'll see you all later.